chill, you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Hello there, this is CoreTV News on the hour. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. The atmosphere in Kano were a sober mood as the news of the death of the Emir of Kano, one of Nigeria's most prominent traditional rulers, Abdullahi Bayero, filtered into the public. The Emir, who has been ill for some time now, was said to have died in the early hours of Friday, according to family sources. He will likely be laid to rest today, according to Islamic rites. We'll bring you more details in our subsequent bulletins. The private residence of Governor Ibrahim Dankwambo of Gombe State, which also served as his official residence, was on Thursday rocked by an explosion. CoreTV News gathered that a police armored personnel carrier that was stationed in front of Dankwambo's house was the target of the blast. The liaison officer to the state government in Abuja confirmed the attack. The Deputy National Publicity Secretary of the People's Democratic Party, Alhaji Abdullahi Jello, an indigene of the state who is one of the governor's close associates, also confirmed the incident. Jello described the incident as an accidental discharge by policemen on guard. He said there was some kind of explosion in an armored car near the house of the governor of Gombe State, but it was not a bomb attack. The Kano State Police commanders recovered improvised explosive devices in 5 unregistered vehicles. The State Commissioner of Police, Adirenle Shinaba, who briefed journalists, said 3 suspects arrested.
Unregistered Honda Saloon car, 92 model, which is black in color. 2, an unregistered Honda Prelude that is red in color. 3, unregistered Golf Saloon taxi color car. 4, unregistered Honda Accord 94 model, dark blue in color. 5, an unregistered Golf Saloon, red in color. We equally recovered Toyota Camry and a tricycle that is yellow in color. The suspects are still assisting the police in carrying out our investigation. We want to talk about the vandalization of empty.
The House of Representatives has again asked the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation to submit the details of revenue performance from 2011 to date to its Committee on Finance. It also ordered an investigation into the true state of the nation's economy within 6 weeks. Other agencies directed to produce the revenue details were Federal Inland Revenue Service, Nigerian Customs Service, Department of Petroleum Resources, and the Budget Office of the Federation. The resolution of the House followed the motion moved by a People's Democratic Party lawmaker from Taraba State, Ibrahim El Sudi. The minister had replied the House earlier, dismissing most of the questions to the amazement of lawmakers. A scheduled public hearing on the state of the economy in February was later stalled as a conjoined and the Committee on Finance resulted to a media war. The hearing was eventually stalled before El Sudi came up with a fresh motion to revisit it. El Sudi had argued that it was important to ascertain the state of the economy because poverty, unemployment and deprivation were high in the country, in spite of its latest rating as Africa's leading economy. He also observed that amid a steady rise in the global price of crude oil, the country had consistently run a deficit budget with a combined domestic and foreign debt burden of $65.2 billion. Nigeria's main opposition party, All Progressives Congress, has inaugurated state executives for 34 states ahead of its national convention. Kaduna and Katsina states were left out because of non-completion of state congresses in the state, but some party members from Ebonyi State came with complaints. Interim national chairman of the party, Bisi Akande, also admitted that there were flaws in the process.
To structure this party, and to structure the party, we need to conduct congresses. We conducted congresses at the ward levels, at the local government levels, and at the state level. That's why you become the face of all these activities here today. But that's not the end of the story. There are complaints and protests about how some of you emerged. We are not going to sweep these complaints under the carpet. We are going to continue investigations about how all of you emerged. And those of you who emerged, not in accordance with the guidelines of this party, will be thrown out.
Meanwhile, President Goodluck Jonathan says the People's Democratic Party is stronger in spite of the defection of some of the party leaders to the All Progressives Congress. He made a statement at the National Executive Committee meeting of the party in Abuja. The party says it remains the dominant party in the country.
And PDP governors came very strong. Even though some people left us, but we are not noticing their absence. Because of the leadership and the commitment shown by Governor Akpabio, the chairman of the PDP Governors Forum, and Governor Jang, the chairman of the Nigerian Governors Forum, and other members of the Governors Forum from the PDP, because of their total commitment. It's like a football team. Nigeria, we have won a team with 10 players before. Yes. Because when they remove one and they remove the second one, the 10 people started playing as if they were 13. So you didn't really notice that you have even lost two. And that is what the PDP governors are doing. We have to encourage them. We have to commend them. They are working and defending the party as if we have 36 governors.
President Jonathan, while hailing the contributions of the leadership of the party, singled out party chairman Adamu Muazu for praise.
But we elected him based on our constitution, and he spoke to us. He told us clearly his mission. And frankly speaking, from that day till today, he has been focused on rebuilding the party. So let me, on behalf of the biggest party in the continent, of course, the dominant party in Nigeria will continue to be so, congratulate our able chairman and commend you for the good work so far, and very clearly the good work that you will continue to carry on. Well, thank you.
Apart from passing a vote of confidence on Mr. President, they also resolved to hold a PDP National Conference after the Muslim holy month of Ramadan. An Abuja High Court has slated June 19 to commence hearing on the suit that was filed against the People's Democratic Party (PDP) by former Minister of Federal Capital Territory Malam Nasir El-Rufai. The former minister, who is a chieftain of the All Progressives Congress (APC), dragged PDP to court following allegation that he has links with the Boko Haram terrorist sect. He is praying the court to award the sum of 1.5 billion naira as exemplary and aggravated damages against both the PDP and its National Publicity Secretary, Olisa Metu, for using a false allegation to tarnish his public image. Besides, the plaintiff told the court that Metu had in several publications that were sponsored by the PDP alleged that he collected 5 billion naira as consultancy fee from the suspended governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Malam Sanusi, Lamido Sanusi. Metu was said to have made the claims in the March 17 and 23 editions of a national newspaper. In the suit dated April 2, 2014, El-Rufai equally joined the newspaper as the third defendant in the matter. The former minister insisted that the publications greatly damaged his reputation and occasioned an irreparable damage to his hard-earned public image by portraying him as a corrupt, money-laundering, reckless, lawless, greedy, and unscrupulous public figure. You're watching CoreTV News this hour. I'll be back with more stories shortly after this break.
On the day list this morning, Nigerians encourage corruption, cites University of the Punch newspaper. And Nigerian government forum calls for Okonjo Iweala's resignation. Page 2 of the Punch newspaper. The dailies every day on CoreTV News.
Nigerians continue to tonight, the city of Lagos went and dog as all routes.
Be the first to know from the north, south, east, west and around Africa. We break the news.
One Nigeria.
Now you can catch all the actions live as the news breaks. We are CoreTV News.
Welcome to CoreTV
News, 24-hour news station.
Thanks for joining us again. For more information on our news and other programs, you can visit us on our Facebook page. It's facebook.com/CoreTV News. And you can also follow us on our Twitter handle at CoreTV News NG. Get to watch previous and current edition of our news and other programs on YouTube. It's youtube.com/CoreTV and news. And outside Nigeria now, Western leaders say they stood united ahead of first direct meetings with the Russian leader Vladimir Putin on Ukraine. President Barack Obama says he has given him a month to back down or face more sanctions. Obama says Russia have to recognize Ukraine's president-elect Petro Poroshenko, withdraw troops from Ukrainian borders, and stop backing pro-Moscow rebels who are destabilizing eastern Ukraine.
On the banking case is short and simple. The tradition of the United States is that the president does not meddle in prosecutions. I have expressed some concerns, and I don't think I'm alone in this, about continuing significant defense deals with Russia at a time when they have violated basic international law and the territorial integrity and sovereignty of their neighbor. President Hollande understands my position. I recognize that this is a big deal. I recognize that the jobs in France are important. I think it would have been preferable to press the pause button. President Hollande so far has made a different decision. The steps that David outlined earlier and that the G7 unanimously agrees with, which is for Mr. Putin to seize this moment, recognize Poroshenko is the legitimate leader of Ukraine, cease the support of separatists and the flow of arms, work with Ukraine to engage those in the East during this process of constitutional and economic reform.
At this summit, we were clear about three things. First, the status quo is unacceptable. The continuing destabilization of eastern Ukraine must stop. Second, there are a set of things that need to happen. President Putin must recognize the legitimate election of President Poroshenko. He must stop arms crossing the border into Ukraine. He must cease Russian support for separatist groups. And third, if these things don't happen, then sectoral sanctions will follow.
That's it on CoreTV News this hour. Do join us again at the top of the hour for more. I am Nifemi Oguntoye.